Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited for the start of this program, ladies and gentlemen, because not only are we a shade over 43 minutes away from UFC 296 kicking off, this card rules, and there's one burning question that I have for a member of this staff that I'm ready to get the answer to. So we're going to find that out right now as we are live on the UFC 296 People's Pre-Fight Show. I am Mike Keck here in New York City, getting ready for the UFC 296 watch party, which goes down at 9:45. It is going to be incredibly festive, so stay tuned for that. And joining me to answer your questions until the first punches are thrown, the baddest stash in MMA, the chair swinging fool that he is, Casey Leydon. How many chair swings does this card get? I thought you were going out the window.
Woo!
All right, that's. You may not even have swung the chair around as many times as you wanted to.
That was intense. I wasn't ready for that. I'm too old for this. I'm ready. Oh. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Yes.
You're like Lieutenant Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. I'm getting too old for this stuff. It's a kid show. Don't want to get us in demonetization trouble 5 minutes into the program. But thank you for joining us, everybody. This card is ridiculous. I don't think it really needs to be sold much more. So at this point, let's just build the anticipation. Let's just build upon the excitement because this card's incredible. We got Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington for the welterweight title. We have what I deem the intercontinental title fight, one that's flying completely under the radar. The probably odds-on favorite to be the fight of the night, the co-main event for the flyweight championship between Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Royval, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett, Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. That's your main card right there. And then the prelim's pretty damn good too. So let's get after it. You have thoughts, you have takes, you have questions. Throw them in the chat. We'll bring them up here. We'll discuss.
All right. Here we go. Oh, okay.
All right, what do we got? What are your thoughts on Colby Covington saying to Leon Edwards that he was in character? So I don't really know what to think about this because remember the what color is the dress thing? And then there's, the different audio things where if you hear it one way, it sounds like one thing. And then you hear it the other way, it sounds like the other. So the way it was kind of transcribed on Embedded was Colby said, hey, I was in character, essentially. But what people are saying in the comments from things that I've seen is Colby was saying, I thought I was a character to Leon as like a form of trash talk. And after sort of seeing Jed say it, and then after reading the comments, I was like, after seeing it, I kind of saw that as well. So I could kind of see both. So I don't know what he said. I don't know if he said, hey, man, I was just in character. Or if it was, hey, I thought I was a character. Like maybe Leon called him a character. He's just a character or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what to really think about it. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on it anyways. But until I hear if it was anybody else from Colby, I think we would get an actual answer on this. But I don't think we're going to get like the real answer from Colby on this if he's asked about it. So I don't know what to think.
I definitely think it's the latter. He was saying something like, you think I'm a character? What were you saying? Like, he wasn't playing.
I thought I was a character. Like, or you said I was a character or something like that. And not him saying, it wasn't like the Usman thing at the end of the second fight where he's like, hey, I was just trying to make us money and sell us pay-per-views. You know what I mean? I think Jed said it perfectly on the preview show yesterday that once you say what you said, you can't really go back on that. You can't be like, hey, man, I'm just trying to sell pay-per-views. Once you cross that line, you just have to go full bore on it. You can't go backwards and say hey, man.
Yeah, he definitely did not say what people want thinking. He said like, I'm just playing a character. First of all, it was at the ceremonial weigh-ins, right? It was at ceremonial weigh-ins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is all ceremonial weigh-ins only exist for one reason, to promote the fight. That's the only reason they exist. And so no, this there were 3,000 cameras on him, 20 microphones. Colby didn't say that. He said the second part, you think I'm just a character or whatever. Maybe if Colby is gonna say that, he's gonna say it backstage, in a kind of a quiet moment, or after the fight when all their I don't know, their defenses are down, when they're just like over it. But no, it was this is, I mean, he still might be playing a character, but he did not admit he was playing a character. Right
Yeah,
there.
this is more. I don't know. It just seemed like more. I'm done playing than anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit here. Like the costumes are off. The revolution talk is not happening right in this moment. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna look at you in the eye and be like,
Hey,
"Thought I was a character, man," but I shook you a little bit.
yeah, we're gonna fight tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, regardless of your opinion on what he said during the press conference, but yeah, I think it's a kind of a much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Can someone explain how pay-per-view numbers work with multi-championship nights? Do they split it 4 ways? I don't know. I don't know. Something tells me with this
Colby's gonna
one,
cut.
Colby will
Challenger's
probably
gonna-
get yeah, Colby will get a little piece. I don't think Pantoja and Royval will.
No, the
I don't
champion
know,
will.
but I really don't know.
Pantoja,
You think
Pantoja doesn't.
usually it's just the main event that gets pay-per-view points?
No, I'm pretty confident. It's always different for every champion, but I'm pretty confident Pantoja, because that's why these like guys like Pantoja want to be on these cards. They want to be the co-main event for bigger cards because they will get cut. It might not be the same amount that same percentage that say Leon gets or maybe even Colby gets. But I'm pretty. I wouldn't doubt that Colby's getting a cut too. But usually,
I'm sure he is.
yeah. But Royval probably is just whatever his rate that a challenger gets for a championship fight. So
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we've talked about this before. I'm not like the whole structure of this whole pay-per-view points thing has changed where in the world of like buys truly mattering, it's not really all that important to the UFC anymore. Like it's something, it's cherry on top of the sundae, but ESPN is paying them a boatload of money just to put this card on their platform. So this thing could sell 2 pay-per-views and they're still going to get a whole bunch of money and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then pay-per-view sales are just like icing on the cake. So I'm not really sure how it works.
Not ESPN. ESPN has a different perspective. They want
Correct. They want it. Yeah, they want it. That's why the PFL pay-per-view is $50 because they know if they sell it for $20, they're going to get probably the same amount of people, but just not like they just want more money. So it's kind of like the Jake Paul fight. Like the Jake Paul fight, I mean, I was there last night. The place was packed. It was packed, but it was not the American Airlines Center in Dallas. There wasn't 20,000 people in there because it was just like a big exhibition hall. It was probably like 2,000 people in there, but they sold the tickets for like an average of $100 and something. So they broke the all-time gate record for Orlando for that fight last night. And it had maybe 1/4 of the people that the Miguel Cotto fight had at the big arena in Orlando. So you sort of balance it out in different ways. I guess this one's already sold out for the UFC too, almost a $10 million gate, which isn't surprising. Question: Of the last 2 press conferences shown, we've reached the bottom in terms of trash talk, not in pearl clutching, ooh, you can't say that terms, but in just low quality, over the top cringe. What's your opinion on this? Because I mean, we've seen both sides of the spectrum in the last month because, we see some of these crazy ass press conferences and we're like, oh, this is just tough. And then you get to UFC 295 where there was like no drama at all, like zero between Pereira and Prochazka, Aspinall and Pavlovich. Like they're confident and they're like, hey, I can't wait to win a belt, but no one's like going over the line. There's no trash talk. There's no back and forths between the fighters. And there wasn't like a ton of fans there. I don't even know if there were fans there for UFC 295. So even the energy levels of those 2 press conferences were completely different. Are we going to ever get into a world where it's like a medium ground where we're like, damn, that was a really good press conference. It had like just the right mix of like competitive spirit and the right kind of trash talk. I don't think we're gonna find that perfect middle ground.
Oh, we've definitely had it before. It's just this was definitely these last two press conferences were not it. These were, in my opinion, and this is very much in my opinion for what I want as an MMA fan. It was bottom of the barrel for me. That's not what I want. But I get it. A lot of fans want this. They want the trash talk. They want the how much can you offend the other fighter or whatever, and that's their cup of tea. That's their cup of tea. I'm really only talking from my point of view, and I'm not putting a judgment on other fans because hey, if this is what you dig, this is what you dig. But I will just say, this is what the UFC wants, though. I think the UFC wants this. They want this type of press conference. They don't want Yuri Pereira press conference. They don't want two martial artists respecting each other and talking about why I'm gonna go out there and lay it all out there and hopefully I win. That's not what they want. They want this.
They do, because they want the casual viewership, and that moment, for however you look at it. And again, if you thought it was great, that's awesome. If you thought it was over the line, I understand. I ain't gonna judge you either way. I didn't love it, but I understand it. And if Colby went into that press conference a certain way, I think he got exactly what he wanted at that press conference. He wanted Leon to kind of freak out a little bit and get a little riled up and angry. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. And we've seen worse things along the way as well than what we saw here. At the same time, 295 was a little laid back. Yeah. Plus, the UFC would rather go viral on like social media than have like, I don't know, ESPN. I mean, they're already on ESPN, but like they would rather go viral on TikTok for that moment than have a story on SportsCenter for 5 minutes about it. You know what I mean? Like that's what they want. They want they want to pass the mom test where your friends who you haven't talked to in 2 years are texting you about, hey, you think Colby's going to get his ass kicked tonight for what he said to Leon? Like, I've gotten that this week. I don't get that a lot with Colby fights. Like, Colby just does what he does, but I don't get a lot of like random text messages about a Colby Covington fight from people I didn't even know were fans. And I've gotten that over the last couple of days.
What I think is interesting about the Sean Strickland dropping very homophobic slurs in a very, like, not in like haha way, but like, no, these were homophobic slurs, and what Colby said was just crossing the line, I guess. I think it's more interesting the fact that, I guess, for the non-MMA fan, when they look at us, like, say this happened in the NBA or Major League Baseball or whatever, dude, can you just imagine that? Can you imagine just, I don't know. It would just blow me away. Like, you won't see it, but like, this is who we are. Who we, how do I say this? This is who we are.
People think we are. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's not even news anymore. Because like, oh yeah, this is how they talk to each other. It's trashy. This is what they do. And if MMA fans are okay with that, cool. If the UFC is okay with that, cool. I don't like that, but I mean, that's the reality, and that's what we're talking about. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Draymond Green went to a press conference and like said something like Sean Strickland said? He'd be. I mean, he's already suspended indefinitely, anyways, but he would get fined. He would get suspended for it. But that's what makes the UFC what it is. Dana's going to be like, "Hey, we're a bunch of crazy." He's going to get asked about it, and he's going to say, "Look, we're a bunch of crazy assholes. This is the fight business. What do you want to do? These are people who punch each other in the face. Like, this is what happens." And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's what they've built. And that's one of the things that make them so interesting to casual viewership. Like, wow, the sports we watch, we're not getting this kind of shit watching the World Series or the Stanley Cup playoffs. You might get the occasional fight, but you're not going to get anything like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
And I don't buy the whole, oh, this is freedom of speech. They can say whatever they want to say. That's BS. Because if the UFC has drawn a line, and the line is like, you can say the most homophobic stuff you want to say. You can say completely misogynistic whatever you want to say. Now, if someone dropped something incredibly racist, now people would be like, "Oh, you did cross a line." So we know there is a line. It's just we know it, but clearly, what Sean Strickland said didn't cross that line to the UFC and to, I guess, most UFC fans. So here we are.
Yeah, Dricus du Plessis. That moment when he got Sean to just kind of lose his shit was pretty good.
That
I mean,
was
the post wasn't good, but Sean saying what he said and then DDP just kind of like laughing at him. Like there's a part of me who even got angry at DDP laughing at him. I was like, oh, if someone like laughed at me like that, I'd be pretty pissed too. I wouldn't have said what Sean said, but
yeah.
that's just kind of who Sean is anyways. Like Sean doesn't need a microphone to say that. He would just say it. You know what I mean? Like you put him in that position, that's just how he reacts. So
yeah. I found that I did find outside of some of the language being used, but I did find the reactions from Strickland very interesting. I was kind of like, oh, okay, that touched that you felt that one, Sean. You know, I don't know if that means anything for the fight or whatnot, but
oh, I think that's exactly what DDP wants.
Oh.
That's exactly what he wants. He wants
Oh,
Sean to lose it.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Did you? I'm trying to move off. We got a lot of trash. We got a lot of trash talk ones. I'm trying to. Oh, here we go.
Excluding 2 title fights, which fighter has the most to gain with the victory? I love these questions.
Yeah.
I love these questions. This is actually really interesting. I mean, you can make a case for both Shafkat and Wonderboy, even though as each day goes by, I feel more confident that Bilal will get a title shot. But I'm not sure. Man, I almost like want to say, I don't know. This is really good because like Emmett and Mitchell, there's not a ton to gain. I mean, it's just a win. Bryce if Bryce wins, he is in line for a big fight. Josh wins, I don't think he gains a ton from it. Patty and Tony, I don't think there's a lot to gain for either guy. Patty has probably has the most to lose here when it comes to. I mean, if he loses this fight, it's pretty bad. It's real
most
bad.
To lose, I would go with Patty for sure. I don't know about most to gain.
I'll say it's got to be either Shafkat or Wonderboy. I would say I'll go with Wonderboy. I'll go with Wonderboy because if he wins tonight, if he goes out there and beats Shafkat Rachmanov, there is going to be a public outcry for him to get a title shot. Like there will be public demand for him to get a title shot, even over Bilal. If
Wonderboy wins, is that what you say? Sorry.
Yeah. If Wonderboy beats Shafkat, there's going to be demand for him to fight for the belt. There's going to be demand for him to jump over Bilal, even though Bilal dominated him in their fight, to give Steven one last shot at it. By the time he fights for it, it'll be 41. But if he beats Shafkat, man, that is, boy, oh boy, that's probably the best win of anybody coming up right now. Is it not?
If Wonderboy wins big, yeah, I think he will gain the most from a dominant victory. I was actually going to suggest actually Aldana. If Aldana wins big, I know no one cares about women's bantamweight, but she cares about women's bantamweight. I know we don't care about women's bantamweight, but she is women's bantamweight and she cares. And I think if Aldana wins big tonight, in a few hours, she will be maybe in line depending on what Pena is doing essentially. So right now, we all loved Irene Aldana. Then she basically had a poo-poo performance against Nunes. Nunes retired, so we kind of forgot what an exciting fighter Aldana is. So maybe if she wins big, but Otherwise, I think for the most part, yeah, I definitely agree with you. If Wonder Boy wins big, as far as like with the fans and main event type thing, him versus he oddly could be a title shot or one win away at the age of 40 something, which would be pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And it might be the biggest upset of the year, honestly.
It probably is. It probably is.
Especially if he wins big, like whoa,
Yeah. I mean, if he just goes out and wins a 15-minute decision against Shavkat, like that would be, to me, like, wow, that just happened. That'd be pretty impressive. I don't see it happening, but boy, what a moment that would be. Of all the things where I feel I could like jump up and go crazy, like if Wonder Boy lands a spinning back kick to the face of Shavkat and like finishes him, that would be the holy shit moment of the card for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, like just so we just didn't expect that. And you know what? Like honestly, Wonder Boy wins big. Whoever wins in the main event, would would you want to see one? Would you want to see Wonder Boy next for a title shot, or is that just that's messed up? No matter what he does.
I mean, there is a part of me that wants to see him get one more shot. Like if he beats Shavkat, dude, like there's no other fight for him right now that makes any sense. It's the title. So even if even if they give Bilal the shot and
I might just wait.
Wonder Boy just gets the winner, like if Wonder Boy wins, he should not fight again unless it's for the belt. Like he said yes to this fight, he took it. If he wins when nobody else wanted to really fight this guy, his next fight should be for the belt. He should be the backup fighter for whenever that title fight happens, and he should get the next shot. But I don't know. Look, Wonder Boy is more popular than Bilal is. He just is. People love the guy, and Colby already like planted some seeds potentially for that fight to happen. He said some things to Wonder Boy, but
that's a weird one. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I kind of feel like if Colby were to fight anybody in this division right now and go through like press conferences in a fight build, like I feel like Wonder Boy might be the best like foil for him, because Wonder Boy's not gonna freak out. He's not gonna throw water bottles. He's just gonna like play back at Colby. Like Colby was calling him some things that I'm not gonna say here because I don't know if we get demonetized or not. But Wonder Boy's just like, yeah, man, you're just jealous you can't get on the bus, or all right, I'll send my kids after you, man. You don't want that. And he like nicely verbally disarmed Colby in just a weird way where Colby's like, I ain't getting anything from this guy. And I don't think there's really anything he could do to get Wonder Boy to bite on the trash talk. So maybe he could disarm Colby a little bit in a fascinating way. I don't know, but I'm here for it.
I really wonder, like, what would get Wonder Boy mad publicly, at least. Like
someone probably have to like try to fight his father or something. That would probably do it.
I mean, because dude, what Colby said, even in jest, is like, dude, you don't joke about that. I don't know. That was like that's just like, damn, dude. Like, what do you like? It's not something you joke about. So I was kind of I'm surprised Wonder Boy kind of laughed it off. He didn't like throw a water bottle or anything, but he could be just like, yo.
Yeah. But he knew all you have to do is just no sell it and like completely no sell it and just like play along with the gimmick. Tony, look what happened. Look what happened with Tony Ferguson and Colby. Like Tony like fired back, but was kind of playful about it, and then they became like best friends after calling each other a bitch for 90 seconds. It was
just them yelling America at each other for like 5 minutes. It felt like I was like, "What? What are you doing?"
I gave you a compliment, motherfucker. Well, I gave you a compliment. Oh. Well, then go beat this guy. Yeah, let's go beat this guy. USA! USA! It was so, I popped for that. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
It reminded me of like those videos of like two dogs barking at each other through a fence, and the fence opens up. They're like, hey, what's up? But then the fence closes again. They're like, like, I don't know. We're fighters. We're supposed to be mad at each other, I guess.
So funny.
That was in all the stupidity of the press conferences, that was an underrated kind of funny moment. Yeah, you're right.
If you're a college student, you're looking to write a paper on the psychology of the fight game, you could do like 3 theses on just the UFC 296 press conference and like all the psychological changes that were going on there. Fascinating stuff.
All right. There. Let's go to the other side.
It's Patty.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, Colby.
it's Patty or Colby. It depends on how you look at it. If I feel like if Colby loses, he'll never get another title fight. At least that's what probably should happen. But we're also living in a world where
If
he
it
could
sells,
still find a way. Like maybe he goes to 55 and fights for one, or goes up and fights for one because it's like a different kind of a story and it's fresh matchups. I will have to say, God, it's Colby for like the top of the division, but it's Patty where this is not the Erin Blanchfield Molly McCann fight. This is not that where Erin kind of got her. They made that fight for a reason. A lot of people thought it was kind of a mismatch, but at the same token, like Molly's name, the momentum she had at the time, Erin getting a win over her at MSG was like a good moment to propel her to a better place. And if Molly had gone out there, this chair, what the hell? If Molly had gone out there and beat Erin Blanchfield, they could have just like thrown her right into a title fight. Like, like we have
if
to
Molly would
go.
have won, yeah.
Yeah, we have to run with this now. This is almost a similar type of fight for Patty where if he wins, yeah, he's going to get a rub from a name. I don't think he's going to gain what Molly could have gained beating Erin Blanchfield, but he gets a little something. But if he goes out and loses to Tony Ferguson tonight, like we have officially hit the ceiling on Patty. That's it. No, he won't be fighting for the belt. And I think that's like the biggest question we've had about him is Patty going to be top 25 guy who is co-main eventing or main eventing London fight nights, which there's nothing wrong with that. You could make a damn good living doing that. Or is he a guy that's going to climb the ranks at 155, the best division in the sport, and fight for a title? Not saying that beating Tony is like, oh, this dude's going to fight for the belt. But if he loses, the conversation for that probably ends, especially at 55. You can't lose right now if you want to fight for the lightweight title. You just can't. You can't afford losses. And this would be a tough one for Patty.
Oh, man, what if Patty? Yeah, I mean, if Patty loses, I mean, yeah, obviously he's not gonna get released or anything. But
Oh God, no. He'll still be fine. He'll still
yeah,
go fight. Yeah, he'll be the London fight night main event, co-main event guy. Sell out the O2 or other arenas in that area, and he'll be a part of those cards. He's still got a name. Still got a name. If there's like another up and coming lightweight that you want to get over, you throw him in there with Patty.
the more I think about it, I thought Patty, but now I'm actually going pretty much all Colby is most to lose because when you put it that way, because the problem is Tony's Tony still, and fans still love him. As long as Tony doesn't win in a way that both fighters just look horrible, but someone had to win type of fight. If Tony kind of looks just 75% of who he used to be, and Patty loses to that, I think Patty will be okay. And obviously, it's gonna take a couple wins to come back. But obviously, if Colby loses, especially if he loses, Leon finishes them, within the 5 rounds. Yeah, I'm interested in how Colby, how his character will change, or if he fights again,
Yeah, that's gonna be fascinating. Where Colby goes if he loses, especially if he goes out and gets like KO'd in this fight.
Yeah,
It's tough to come back from that, man. Like you go out and you say those things, and again, this isn't I'm not passing judgment at all. But it's just whether it's on the playground or in the octagon, you say things like that. If you can't go in there and back it up when the fists start flying, it's tough to come back from that. It just is. So we'll see. It's definitely probably between those two guys though.
Yeah. Did you see
Thoughts on Karate Combat? I saw some of it. Apparently, it was a slog. It was a slog of all slogs. it was just a long, like a fun event, but it just took forever. This was a PFL paced kind of a card. At least that's what people were telling me.
I didn't think it was that bad. I find PFL much more tedious to watch. There were just a lot of matches, and a lot of the matches, and they pretty much all went to decision. A couple of them didn't, but I think for the most part they went to decision. Um, I kind of, I, I, I appreciate karate combat's doing something different. How about that? I appreciate it. They had like they were on the in space type of theme. The ring girls were dressed as like alien ring girls. They shoot it on a set, so everything's a green screen. So it was like spaceships, and you see like satellites and spaceships moving in the background, and George St. Pierre's on the commentary, Boss Root, and they're kind of wearing these like weird flight jackets, I guess. Um, they're doing something. Oh, the guy doing the post fight interviews was not good though. But
Who was it?
some dude. It was just a dude. I don't know.
All right, fair.
It was just wasn't. I think has Phoenix done it before, or someone done it before?
I think Alex Wendling didn't.
Alex Wendling's done it before. It wasn't her. It was another gentleman. It just wasn't very good. What's his name? Robin Black. Yeah. He was doing like post fight like.
He was the desk guy.
Yeah, kind of desk guy, but recap. But he was wearing like this sequins jacket, and it was just. It's different, and I appreciate them trying to do something different. So, if it's, I honestly I don't understand the whole karate combat thing. To me, it just seems like just stand up MMA light. I don't know.
It's blood sport. It's blood sport. That's what it seems. It's like the kumite in blood sport. Like you got the pit. It's kind of like that style. I will say this. I had a little FOMO, like not being there. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching, I'm like, man, like this would have been like a cool one to really go to. And the other thought I had was, and I don't want this to turn into like, oh, Mike just shits on PFL all the time, but did PFL have any card in the last 2 years where there was as much buzz and intention on a non-UFC card? Like there's not one thing they've done this year that got the attention that this Karate Combat event did. And I thought Karate Combat nailed it. They fucking nailed it by just going to the same place the UFC was on the week of a big event. Every promotion should be doing that. They all should be doing that. This card, International Fight Week, you treat it like WrestleMania weekend. Where
there you go.
If you're LFA, you're CFFC, you're BKFC. By the way, shout out to BKFC for being just so tepid and giving them a copyright strike.
Did that really happen? I wasn't.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I saw a screen. Like I know. I mean, we all like kind of figured it out, but I guess like people were getting messages like this broadcast is stopped due to a copyright strike from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Which, if this is like truly what happened, then I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. It's super funny.
Like Dave Feldman's just sitting at home waiting for that footage to pop up. Like, boom, submit report. Like, that's our footage.
It's our champion. We just stripped of the belt. Mike Perry's there. Like everybody was there. Nate Diaz was there last night. Like everybody went to this.
You know what's interesting? Mike Perry was there, and his lower third was not BKFC fighter, BKFC champion, or whatever, King of Violence. It was just ex-UFC fighter. I thought that was kind of odd. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess so.
But I'd love to see more of that. Like, give the fans that sort of extra reason to go, where it's like you don't just go. Like, you could go to WrestleMania week and just do WWE scheduled events, or you could go to WrestleMania week and do some WWE scheduled events, but then go to like a bunch of WrestleCons or go to different events. Like all the promotions host events in that area. MMA, like this is how you grow MMA. This is how you create stars. This is how you build people up to get that phone call to get on the radar. Not a bad place to go where Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard are like, what should we do tonight? Oh, let's go to this LFA card that's like 4 miles from the UFC offices, and let's go see if like the next dude is there, or the next like female talent at 125 or 135. The next women's bantamweight champion of the world could be on some card that is in Vegas. But like, I give Karate Combat an A+ for just having the wherewithal to do an event out there and got everybody there. Everybody went. Everybody had a good time.
And
It was good.
it was a Vegas Nevada sanctioned event, so there was commission. I mean, it was a real thing. It wasn't just I don't know, just fake fights. But back to WrestleMania. WrestleMania was in LA this year, and I don't care for WrestleMania or WWE that much, but I love WrestleMania week because I saw probably I think 6 different wrestling shows from different promotions. Ring of Honor, GCW, New Japan, another Japanese promotion, Dragon Gate. But I saw so much pro wrestling that week, and I didn't even watch WWE. It was just one of the
Yeah.
most fun weeks as a pro wrestling fan. And you're right. I wish combat sports MMA could do that for a UFC week, but I feel like, but unfortunately, I feel like the promoters in MMA everyone's got too much of an ego to even share that space in a week, you know.
Which is so stupid. It's so dumb. Like why? Like LFA and CFFC are like on Fight Pass. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
UFC it's still a UFC branded event. Like UFC should plan this themselves, and just somewhat not like you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like not.
Well, I
It's
guess
on Fight Pass.
the
Give
UFC
it the
kind
push.
they tried doing that. Remember they used to do 3 shows like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but it was all UFC shows, so it was a little different. But I would
Yeah.
like something different, a different
Yeah.
promotion, and then finish off with the big UFC show, which UFC is the biggest event. They're the big boys, so yeah, it should end with the UFC event. But that'd be awesome.
If BKFC could get sanctioned in Nevada, and I don't know if they did or didn't. I know this one did. I don't think they're quite there yet. But if Nevada can sanction BKFC, they should absolutely 1,000,000% host a card in Vegas during either International Fight Week or the
That'd be so
final
cool.
card of the year. The final card of the year is probably better for them. Like end the year with like if they did the Mike Perry Eddie Alvarez card like Thursday night heading into UFC 296, like after that press conference, oh my god, dude, the place would have been the bloodlust would have been through the roof. The timing on that would have been incredible. So I would like to see more of that.
Um. Oh, let's talk. This is for you, sir.
Thoughts of the Jake Paul KO win? He did it. I mean, he went out there. He said all week I'm gonna knock this dude out in the first round. And he knocked dude out in the first round. Here's the thing, guys, and people are gonna shit on me. Do I think Jake Paul's gonna fight Canelo and beat him? No. But has Jake Paul become a better boxer than where we started with him? Yeah. That uppercut he landed on Andre August. And look, I'm not a moron. I know what this fight was all about all week. You put a guy in there with a nice padded record who hasn't really beat anybody, who isn't wonderfully skilled, but is still like a big dude and is somewhat athletic. Like we knew what was going to happen here. Jake was going to go out and dust this dude. It was just a question of was Jake going to knock him out in the first round, or was Jake going to carry him a little bit? And Jake just killed him. Didn't get touched. That uppercut was nasty. He flattened him. It was it, and it was all over. It's going to be interesting to see what Jake does in 2024. I thought it was hilarious at the press conference. They got to do a little bit better at this. I asked Jake about Dylan Dennis and Derek Brunson calling him out, and Nikisa, who is Jake's like co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, like no UFC fighter is going to be able to fight for us anyways. And I didn't have the mic at the time because I would have loved to have been like, he's not in the UFC. Derek's in the PFL, where Jake is also in the PFL, so they could do an MMA fight too if they want to. Dylan Dennis isn't signed with anybody right now, so he could potentially fight either of those two guys if he truly wanted to. But it doesn't seem like Jake wants any of that stuff. He told me Friday or Thursday that he would like to do MMA, but if he's going to do MMA in 2024, it's Nate or he's not doing it. He wants to focus on just boxing and fighting these types of guys. Like he wants to take the boxing route right now, which I find kind of interesting, where because he could still make these, he could go fight KSI right now and make a floppity jillion dollars and millions of people will watch it, but doesn't seem like he's interested in that right now. So yeah, good win, good knockout. He did what he needed to do. People went home happy. I love the walkout with rocking around the Christmas tree. super funny. And my favorite part of the week, I got to see the iconic voice multiple times, and she
Hey.
was heroic yesterday.
Oh, she
The
was.
Wi-Fi, oh dude, I had a tough night with the Wi-Fi
Did she fix
in the
it? Did she
building.
fix your computer?
No,
Oh.
when the press conference is over, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to like wait to go to the airport to like get Wi-Fi, and she's like, I got you, and she like hooked me up with like her Wi-Fi, so I got to like send
Uh,
everything. She's the best. I mean,
she's the best.
she's the iconic voice, she's the iconic everything. But yeah, it was a fun card. It was just it was not the Nate card. It wasn't that fight week, and I almost kind of preferred it because you still had some of the weirdness. You got to shine the light on some other boxers too, like seeing Shadeja Green and Franchon get so much attention because of what they did at the press conference. There were a lot of eyeballs on that fight heading in. That was kind of cool. Unfortunately, the fight was not good. It was a really bad fight between
Bummer.
Shadeja and Franchon, but Franchon won, and her winning the belt and the moment for her afterwards is pretty interesting. I realized live blogging that fight that boxing is not MMA because like how do I because I scored every round for Shadeja Green because Bradshaw just kept tackling her and like she would just run at her and hug her and then like punch her in the belly 3 times
Right.
and the ref
Okay.
would
Yeah.
separate them and Green would land like a jab and a right hand and then Franchon would tackle her, land a couple body shots and then separate. But in boxing, like that wins you rounds. In MMA, it doesn't win you rounds because you
Mm.
land the person lands the harder, more impactful
Damaging
shots.
shots. Yeah.
But I guess it ain't that way in boxing. But yeah, I thought it was a good event. There's some good fights, good young fighters.
Did
Maybe
did
the
H
most brutal knockout of the year happened on that card too, and it wasn't Jake's knockout.
did the H2O kid fight?
He
Was
did
he?
not.
Oh, he wasn't on this card. Okay.
He did
All right.
not.
Cool.
I thought Talez, I think Talez. Dude, that knockout was friggin' nasty. It's on our website if you haven't seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I thought he really really hurt this guy, but yeah,
All
it's
right.
good. Not good win. Good knockout. Not gonna age well, but it was a good highlight.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it is about.
This is
And
what boxers do.
yeah, and like it's weird. Like Jake Paul, Jake Paul is a, yeah, I got messages with Jake Paul, but he's we kind of put him in a kind of a no-win situation, and since you fight talented past their prime MMA fighters, then like who create lots of buzz, lots of money, we're like, boo, do it the right way. So he does it the right way, and they're like, I'm bored of this, who's this guy? Who's this dude? It's like, no, it's like either, I don't know. Jake's kind of we're just kind of complaining a lot,
Yeah.
I liked it. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting but regardless of how, whatever this guy is, the fact that he didn't get touched and knocked him out with one punch, dude, that's still talent. That is talent.
He smoked him.
Yeah,
He
a
smoked
legit
him.
good, talented, technical uppercut. Wasn't anything sloppy about it. It's like, oh, all right.
That's like,
Jake,
damn.
yeah,
It was good. It was nasty. That was a thud.
yep,
He landed that one. Place went bananas. It was a very pro Jake crowd. A lot of young people, a lot of influencers that I have no idea who they are.
yeah.
Matt Riddle was there. It was cool to see him. Charles Rosa was there. I haven't seen him in a while. He's actually fighting tonight, I think in the same building in an MMA fight, headlining an MMA card there. So it's good to see him. And his brother is an upcoming fighter too. His name is Lucas Rosa. Good, nice to meet him last night. So yeah, it was a good time. It's a good time. Thoughts on MVP announcement coming soon? I love what MVP's been doing on social media. By the way,
Yeah, that was good.
I have
saw
to
the video.
say, for free agent of the year, it is Michael Venom Page by a mile, and it's not even a conversation right now. Boy, has he done a fantastic job this year of just getting himself out there and getting people excited about where he's going to go. And he drops this little teaser video, perfect timing. He's got the bag opened up with the PFL gloves, the UFC gloves, and him showing up to that PFL event and doing that face off with Cedric Doumbé was frigging brilliant on his part. Absolutely brilliant. Because I have no insight to this whatsoever. Here's what I'm going to predict, and I could be wrong, and I'm wrong all the time. I think MVP, whatever MVP wanted out of that moment, he got. I think immediately the UFC saw that and they were like, the whole co-leader thing, Dana being like, no, we ain't letting this shit happen. I think they just went out and they made the deal. They got it done. I think we will get the Kevin Holland fight. I don't think we'll get it as soon as the War Room wall indicates. It seems like that's too quick to really build that one. It's a month away. I think you want to give that a little bit more of a build. But that's my guess. Now, I could be wrong, and he could go to PFL and make a whole bunch of money. That could very well happen. But I think, and this is MVP doing the Brock Lesnar thing where he showed up on somebody else's show but knew where he wanted to go from the beginning.
All right. For if MVP goes anywhere outside of UFC, is the Doom Bay fight the only fight, or does he come, or do they build him up a little bit in PFL? Do they? I don't think so. But I'm just kind of wondering.
You got one. There's one fight for him. It's one. That's it. It's Doom Bay, and then everyone's like, okay, now what? Because PFL. That's the problem with PFL. They don't have any stars. Doom Bay is a star.
So
then what?
That's why I'm wondering, do you put them against each other right now? Or do you kind of take your chances and kind of give them both, cans to, promote two cards?
You can't. I don't think you can. 2024 is like...
It's risky, but the payoff could be bigger.
It could be. It could be. Okay. PFL is not in the... PFL can't play anything safe anymore. Like after this whole Francis deal, the whole Bellator signing, all of that, this whole we're going to be the co-leader... It's not business as usual anymore. They have to step up their game in a huge way. So they're going to they're not going to do it like the Bellator thing. Like Bellator for a long time, they put these like tournaments together or these Grand Prix were like, oh, we're going to get to this. And then they wouldn't book the fight first when it made sense. I think PFL is going to try to book the fight, but I also don't think Michael Venom Page actually wants to go to PFL. So
I don't think so either.
Again, no insight. That's just my view on it.
How are we looking at the broadcast?
I don't know because I don't have the broadcast on. It's sure 6:30. We'll take like one more and then we'll do the predictions. Okay, and one more. I have to get my gear for the watch party. It's going to be festive AF in there.
This is an interesting question.
What is the outcome you don't want to happen?
Putting me on the spot.
God. I don't know, man. Colby winning is like super weird and it makes the division really interesting. I do sort of feel though that like heading in, maybe when they first booked this fight, I maybe didn't feel that way because I was just like, oh, Bilal's going to win. I mean, Colby's going to win. Then he's going to go try to fight Conor, and he's going to sit out until he gets a fight like that. Now, I don't think that's really the case. I do feel like the timing actually could line up really well for Colby to be much more active moving forward, at least in 2024, because you think Sean O'Malley and Cheeto are going to be like, nah, I ain't fighting in Miami if Colby's on the Colby headlines? You think they'd be pissed about that if they got like the same money and the same perks? I don't think so. I think they'd be like, all right.
If more pay-per-view sells mean more money to them, I don't think they care.
Yeah. So if Colby wins and then turns around and fights in Miami in March, headlines in Miami, which would be really weird and fun with like the potential of like what could happen with Masvidal being in Miami and stuff. Like everything surrounding that would create talking points. He would fight. I think he would fight Bilal or whoever. Just so we get headline in Miami. I think that would actually mean something to Colby, or maybe be on UFC 300. Like Colby's a prize fighter. He understands he can make money in either fighting at home or fighting on a big numbered card like 300. So yeah, I kind of feel like he's going to be more active, but what do I not want to happen? I know Jed was being real, and I totally get where he's coming from. And the whole I hope Patty just kills Tony Ferguson tonight, just runs him over so that Tony is like forced to retire. We don't want to give it any more reasons to be like, well, at least he landed a drop kick in Patty and dropped him in the first round. Like, we want the story to kind of end. We don't want it to get any sadder. But I don't want to see that. I want to see Tony, like, even if he loses tonight, I just want to see him go out and have a fun competitive fight. Like a bloody war, even if he loses, like, even if it means he comes back for nothing, I don't care at this point, as long as they like matchmake him for the right way. When John Anik said Patty's better than people give him credit for, but something good needs to happen to Tony, I don't think it's John saying, oh, I'm rooting for Tony. It's definitely not that. But I think that's what he means. I want Tony to go in there and just like have a blood and guts fight, and whatever happens, happens, win or lose. I just don't want to see him get wrecked tonight. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I expect Tony to lose tonight. I think one of the worst outcomes would be like Tony looking good for a round and then getting 10-7'd, 10-8'd the next 2 rounds. And to the point where like, well, he did great for one more round, so I guess we'll give him one more fight against some other top 55er that there's a million of them. As far as in the main event, things I don't want to happen. If Colby wins, whatever. I just don't want to sit around waiting for Colby versus Conor, because I know they're going to try to book that, and I would hate that. And for Leon, I don't want him to go to 85. He's
not going to do that. He's
okay.
cooled on that, I think.
Good. I think good. I think if he beats Covington, yeah. I mean, I would like for him. I mean, it's a long shot, but go for the GSP record. Just try to break GSP's record. Go for that. That's exciting. The double champ thing, I think we're over it. I think everyone's over it.
There's no real world, like no one's asking for it. Not one person.
Yeah.
The Volcom people were asking for, maybe not like right that at that moment, but they were like, oh, what happens if these two guys fight? No one's asking for, oh, I wonder what happens if Leon fights Sean Strickland. You know what I mean? No one's really talking about that.
Honestly, the only outcome I don't want to happen is for the 170-pound division to become stagnant again. That's all.
Yeah, that
I think that's all we want.
That's the correct answer. That is the correct answer. The outcome that holds this division up, because this division did nothing this year. Did nothing. Had some moments, but there was literally nothing that happened after Leon beat Usman.
A premier
in March.
division, 170. I mean, 170 at main event. I mean, that main event's pay-per-views. Come on, and we didn't see it for a year for no good reason other than we just kind of waited for Colby for some reason.
Yeah. But it's a great answer. Great answer. All right, you want to do some bonus predictions? What do you got?
Fight of the night. Write the check right now to Mr. Pantoja and Brandon Royval. Just do it right now, Mr. Dana White. Save some time. That'll be the fight of the night. Performance of the night. Leon Edwards and Leon Edwards and I'm gonna go Leon Edwards and I'm taking it's kind of a long shot. I'm going Josh Emmett.
Damn! Wow. I'll tell you what. If that happens, you probably win the game. Boy. Actually, oh man, I didn't even get my picks in. Damn it!
Oh no, you didn't get them in time.
Son of a biscuit! I cannot believe I just did that. I thought about it too, and I didn't do it. What a moron! Performance of the night. I will go. I'm gonna go Brandon Royval.
Oh, performance of the night. Okay.
That fight, I think that fight's gonna end pretty quickly, like within 12 minutes, probably sooner. And I'm picking Royval, so I'll go with Royval. I will go with, even though he's the biggest favorite on the card, I'll go with Shafkat.
For performance?
For performance.
That's good. So you're saying he finishes?
I think he does finish Wonder Boy.
He finishes Wonder Boy. Okay.
Yeah, I think he does. Fight of the night. I mean, it's definitely Pantoja Royval, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett is the fight of the night.
I like it. I like it. I like it, sir.
I'm
I
gonna
like it.
say
Hey, I'm hoping.
yes. Main card predictions. You're picking Josh Emmett to win a bonus, so I assume you're
I'm
picking
going
Josh
Josh
Emmett to
Emmett,
win.
second round knockout.
Damn, that'd be a great
I'm
start.
yeah. I'm taking because Mitchell is on short notice, and I, I don't believe Josh Emmett's obviously. I don't believe he's the best featherweight, but I think he's still very dangerous and a strong wrestler who will be able to keep it. Maybe not keep it standing in the first round, but I think I see a big knockout. So, but Josh
I
Emmett.
mean, that's how Josh does win this fight is he finishes Bryce, but I do think Bryce is durable, and I do think he's going to get a whole bunch of takedowns in this fight.
And just do Bryce Mitchell things.
It's going to be a Bryce Mitchell decision, I
Yeah,
think.
fair enough.
7-8 takedowns, just not a ton of damage done, but enough to just kind of keep Josh Emmett from inflicting any damage. Tony Ferguson versus Patty Pimblett. Let's see what the betting odds are right now. Patty, the minus 375 favorite. The comeback on Tony Ferguson plus 295. Casey, is this Tony time?
Patty Pimblett submission round 3.
So I have a bet on this fight. We are doing the watch party, so I do the bets on the watch party fight. I have a bet on Tony Ferguson by decision at plus 700. So I don't think Tony can finish Patty at this point of his career. So if Tony wins, I think he's going to win by decision because Patty is really tough to get out of there. I don't know if Tony can do it. And Tony's very durable too. Like he's gotten dominated in fights. Bobby Green kind of beat him up for a while, but I could see a world where Tony goes to the cards. I think there's a lot of these fights that are going to see round 2. I think we're going to see a lot of round 3s tonight because there are a lot of like really competitive fights. So taking a flyer on Ferguson at plus 700, I have very little confidence in that pick, but yeah, I think there's value there. If Tony wins, he's going to win by decisions. You might as well get the extra juice. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're at. But I think it's gonna be a good fight, and may the best man win. Shavkat Rakhmonov minus 650. The comeback on Stephen Thompson plus 470. Shavkat round 2 submission for me. I do think Shavkat's going to try to stand Wonderboy a little bit. I think the first round is going to be pretty competitive, honestly. I think Shavkat probably ekes it out. I think we'll see the media tweets 10-9 Shavkat. ... But Wonderboy looks pretty good. He doesn't look like a fish out of water here. And I think Shavkat's will be like, all right, what are we doing here? And I think he's eventually going to get Wonderboy down and submit him. Round 2.
30-27 Shavkat.
Okay. I have a huge parlay with over 1.5s. Like I think I have 9 fights that I'm picking are going to go over 1.5. That is one of them, by the way. That is one of them. Patty and Ferguson is also one of them. We got Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. The champion, Pantoja, minus 218. The comeback on Brandon Royval, plus 180. I already kind of gave it away. Brandon Royval, shocking club and sub, round 2, and new.
In a fight where any outcome would not surprise me,
Right.
I mean, literally, any outcome would not surprise me. But I am going to go Pantoja by decision.
If this fight goes 5 rounds, then it's going to be on the fight of the year list.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
This is why I'm super as a fight fan. Just what happens in that cage, I'm very hyped for this fight. Very hyped.
The main event of the evening for the UFC welterweight title, the final UFC fight of 2023. Leon Edwards, the minus 162 favorite, puts his welterweight title on the line for the second time, and he faces Colby Covington, who's become a big rival to him this week. Colby comes back at plus 136. Casey, when we write the final sentence of the UFC 2023 calendar year in the octagon, what's the final sentence going to say? What's the final headline going to read?
Leon Edwards in round 4 after a vicious body kick drops Colby Covington and ground and pounds him to a TKO victory in round 4.
I see a lot of people jumping on Leon like a late finish. It seems to be a very popular choice. I really don't know how this fight's going to go. I'm pretty excited to just watch it at this point, see how it all plays out. Guys, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I try to tell you the truth. There's a real world where this fight is not very fun. Like there's a very real world where this fight is not fun at all. And I'm kind of thinking that's what's going to happen here. I think it's going to be more fun than it could be, but it's not going to be this like, oh, these two guys hate each other. They're just going to go bananas. I don't think we're going to see that. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to just throw out what my bet is. I have a bet on Colby Covington by decision as well, plus 250. I just think I think this fight is closer than people think. I've seen a lot of breakdowns of this where it's just like, oh, Leon's just going to run this dude over. I just don't see that. I don't see that. But again, as I've said all week and in the build of this fight, the first 7 minutes are going to tell me everything I need to know. If Colby is gun shy and doesn't get cooking and lets Leon just kind of get in space and kick him in the body and kick him in the legs and piece him up from the outside, he's going to lose. He's going to lose this fight. But if Colby comes out, gets takedowns, wins the first round, does the same in round 2, we head into round 3, either 19-19 or 2018 Colby, then there's a real world that Colby wins this fight. So going Colby by decision, much like the Tony Ferguson by decision, this is not really a flyer, but this is a value bet that if Colby does win, that's how he's going to do it. He's not going to finish Leon Edwards. I'd be shocked if that happened. So I'll go Colby by decision, plus 250, and probably going to be wrong, and that's okay. It'll be a fun watch nonetheless. Hit the music. I don't know what's going on. Apparently the Martin Buday fight is happening at the moment. And my bold prediction was that we're not going to get a single first round finish on this card, but this is the one I was worried about. This is the one I was worried about. So it could actually happen here. So, but enjoy, everybody. Lots to talk about. Jose is in Las Vegas. So we'll have backstage interviews, all that fun stuff, press conference, watch party 9:45. We'll have post-fight show. AK and I back tomorrow for the final matchmaking show of the year. I am so fired up. Let's go. Swing your chairs round and round.
Let's go.
Get your buddies in the house.
Let's go.
Whoa. We'll see you later on tonight. Let's go.